Hey everybody, I'm recording this meeting. I can't talk this evening. And so I was talking with Maya. She was asking if I had any tips for the LEQ prep. Maya, I think you're part of the 18-week schedule. Is that correct? And you have an upcoming LEQ exam. Um, so how it works is I will give you the choice of two prompts, and then you can choose between the two. And really, what I'm looking for is for you to just be analytical, follow the format, and let me look real quick to see how much time you have. I think you probably have an hour, but let me see. So, with it being an hour, I mean, yeah, you have an hour for that. I mean, I take that into consideration, that you only have an hour for the test. And so um, that's really about, as much as I can say. I think I will say that, certainly read the Renaissance chapter in our text, and probably build off of, any assignments that we've had, leading up to that. What I'm trying to say is the assignments we've had leading up to the LEQ test will help you on the LEQ test. So it's about as, does that help, Maya? Okay, hopefully it does. Great. Okay. Well, good evening. Thank you all for coming this evening. I want to talk to you tonight about Shmoop. Has anybody ever used Shmoop? Do you know what it is? You can just type something in the chat box. Is it? Oh, you've used it before? Great, Maya. Then you're going to be our resident expert. And you too, Nick. I've used it before, and I've set us up a class in Shmoop. It's a great resource for us. I'm going to go through this really short PowerPoint presentation, and I will post this in our class. Okay, so you don't have to worry about writing all this down unless you want to. So I'll show you in just a moment how to log in. You're going to click on the student resources on the course homepage. And then in order to access our class, you're going to need my email address and the class code. And as you can see, the class code for AP Euro is listed there. Now, I also teach another class, AP Comparative Government, and that class code is there. So don't sign up for the wrong class, okay? You're in AP Euro, so make sure you sign up for that one. So what is Shmoop? Well, lucky you, it's a study tool. And one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and use Shmoop, a couple of reasons. Georgia Virtual School has a site license for this product, and a lot of you had asked me what kind of study guide should you get. And the good news is this is free to you, and it's a really good resource. It's student friendly. And another good thing about it is you will have access to this even after the class ends. Okay, so we're in the A section of this class. So next term, when you're taking the B section, then you will be able to continue this. The good thing is, if you are studying for other classes, Shmoop can probably help you with that as well. If you're studying for the SAT, Shmoop can help you with that. In just a moment, we're going to log into Shmoop, or I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I have decided that we may be able to use this in place of some projects. I'm not really sure how we can do that. In AP Euro, we have our art projects every so often. And it's a semester-long project, and it's ones that actually do this grading period. So I guess occasionally we may be able to substitute your work in Shmoop for some of these projects, but we can talk more about that later. You may decide that the art project is something that you would rather do, but we'll talk more about that. So how do you start? Well, I've set up a classroom in Shmoop. I have also assigned a diagnostic test. You know, the diagnostic test is a really good way to get started. Sort of like a pre-test. It's no harm, no foul. None of this really is. You're really just competing with yourself in all the work that you do here. But it's going to give you some idea of kind of where you are in being able to score high on this AP exam that you'll take in May. There will be review topics for you to help reinforce some of the material that we are learning, and I have assigned some drills only because it's a classroom. I needed to assign something, and so I decided just to go through and assign some of the drills covering the content that we've already studied this semester. I would encourage you to log in. I guess if you decide you never want to log into Shmoop, that's your choice. I would discourage you from doing that. I would say log in and just see what it's all about. Let me show you what Shmoop is. I'm going to try my very, very best to share my screen. And so hopefully that's working. You'll let me know, right? So please tell me, do you see our course homepage? You can just type something in the chat box. Yes, all right. Cool. All right, great. So how you access Shmoop, and by the way, this is my version. So how you access Shmoop, you would come up here to Student Resources, and if you scroll all the way down here to the bottom, you see we have a link to Shmoop. Now, when you do this, it's going to ask for your email and username. It's not going to ask me for that because I've already logged in, but that's what it's going to ask you. Let me show you what our classroom looks like. So this is, like I said, the class code that you need. And we have our AP European History. And you're going to see something that sort of looks like this. You're going to have a dashboard up here, some review topics, some drills, some videos, and practice exams. So on our dashboard, I've already released a multiple choice test. And as you take the different tests and review topics and drills that Shmoop has to offer, you are awarded what's known as Schmoints, kind of a play on the word points, okay? And so, like I said, you're really competing with yourself, but they do have a leaderboard. Now, these folks that you see here are from previous semesters. I haven't used this in a couple of months, or excuse me, a couple of years. But it will be interesting to see just how we all do. As you are working through the different review topics, your skills will be recorded here. I would say yes. I mean, I think your multiple choice tests in the class are pretty generalized questions based on the content. So are these. These tests here reflect directly with what you would see on the AP exam. Let me go through and tell you that this is the dashboard. Once you take your multiple choice test, you may want to see where you have strengths and where you have areas of improvement. To do that, you can go to review topics if you find some different things that you need to review. And you see here there is a lot of good information for you to go through. I think in our class we're going to go as far as what period 2, I believe. Is that correct? In the A portion, and then in the B portion, pick up somewhere probably around here, and then do the rest of period 3 and then period 4. Okay. So these are the review topics. Here in this tab right here are the drills. I've gone ahead and I've assigned some drills for you to get started with. Okay. In this class, there are videos for you to look at, which is kind of cool because in my last class, they didn't have any videos at all. Okay. So if you're more of a visual learner, more of an auditory learner, you may want to skip some of the review topics and just go straight to the videos. Maybe you learn a little bit better that way. That's perfectly fine. I'm sorry, I accidentally jumped out. Right there. There we go. And then we were on the videos right here. So there's lots of good videos for you to take a look at. Then at the very end are the practice exams. Okay, so what I have, there's only 2 practice exams. So my thought in replacing this with a project was maybe a practice, scoring a certain percentage on a practice exam would maybe replace a project or something like that. That's kind of what I was thinking. But we can talk more about that. I've locked those down. The only thing that's available to you right now is the diagnostic test. I think that's a smart thing to do, is to kind of see where we start, get a feel of where we are. But the really neat thing about Shmoop is this: you have access to all of this. Okay, so Georgia Virtual School has bought the premium version for you, and so you have SAT prep. If you're taking another AP exam, you have access to that review material. They have different courses. Okay, if you're taking math or English, all of this is available to you. Different teaching guides if you just want to learn something about something. What else? I would certainly take advantage of this if I were you. Okay, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's already paid for, so why not? Okay. Do you have any questions? Well, from what I understand, Maya, you don't need a magic word. Okay. From what I understand, all you need to do is put in your username and password, your Georgia Virtual School username and password, and that should give you access. Okay, so they've changed it from what I understand. I think the to retake the practice exams and the diagnostic tests. Yeah, I think so. I don't recall if they are just a one-time thing or if I don't know. We'll have to try it. We'll have to try it. See if it can be reset. I do know this. You take the diagnostic test and then you find your areas of strengths and areas of improvement. And as you move through these review topics, okay, you can build your skills. Your skills will be recorded here. Okay, I think it's worth looking at. Okay. And it gives these options, like if you only score it halfway or a small amount here, then you can, you know, go straight to the different time period reviews by clicking here. And they go into a lot of interesting, this is one of the reviews. This is kind of interesting. I mean, they don't make it boring, okay? It really is interesting and keeps you engaged. And you can read stuff and then go and take a drill, which gives you more schmoints, which is always a good thing. You gain more. So I encourage you to log in to Shmoops, go into our class, and start working it, okay? As an additional way to gain knowledge about this AP European history. Any questions about Shmoop? I can't wait for you to use it either, Nick. I think it's going to be great. I think that, like I said, you can use this for this class or if there's another class, you know. I'm not going to go through and, you know, say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, Nick. Not like we do in our regular course, okay? So this is just something supplementary to you. Now, speaking of our class here, any of you a part of the 14-week schedule? That schedule just started, and so they're going to have their first due date this Wednesday. So they're just getting started. If you're on the 16-week schedule, I gave you a couple of videos to look at. One of the things you guys are working on, the one thing you guys are working on, is the Northern Renaissance Art Project. I've had a lot of questions about, there's been some confusion about how to put the project together. So I provided an example of an art project, and I'll pull it up right here. Here's the example. I mean, really, it doesn't have to be that detailed. However, you do need to go and make some art selections, all right, based on this time period. And so this is just the application portion of the project. Here is the factual understanding portion. You know what, you can describe the different movement. And here is where you apply your knowledge, okay? Yes, you will have 2 empty columns over here because the whole idea is this will be your next movement. That'll be the next one. So on and so forth. So we'll continue to use this same form as we do our art projects. Any questions about the art project? Oh, okay. You're an easy bunch. Maya was asking about the LAQ test coming up on the Renaissance. I would encourage you to go back and look at the first unit here. I didn't mean to do that. You can log on to this all about the exam, and you can, I think it's all on page 10 or near page 10, or yeah, page 10. So I would, you know, just as a review, okay, be analytical. Like I said, Maya, what you'll do is you'll get 2 prompts, and you can choose between the 2. The main thing about the LEQ is to have the right format and just be as specific as you can be. I understand that it's an hour. You only have an hour, um, so it's not like it's something that you have 2 or 3 days to spend on. Obviously, in a case like that, I would be the expectation would be that you would be um, produce something a little more detailed. So I know that you're under a time constraint here. So, but still, I think the prompts are general enough, and there are assignments that have been assigned that help provide some of those details that I'll be looking for. So, um, that's the best I can give as far as prepping for the LEQ. Any other questions? Well, I got to tell you, I am so happy to see that so many of you came to this session. I appreciate your attendance. And as always, please reach out to me if you have a question. I'm more than happy to answer it. Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes especially around an assignment due date, you're feverishly trying to get assignments in, and then it's on me to get them all graded. So sometimes when questions are emailed to me on a Thursday, they may not get answered as quickly as I would like, but I do try to go back and answer questions as best I can. But so certainly, if you have a question, please reach out to me. Remember, I also have a cell, and that's a cell or a text right there. But if you don't have any questions, don't have anything else for me, I appreciate you coming. Thank you. And I won't keep you any longer than I have to, so you are more than welcome to leave. You're free to go. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Maya. I'm excited for you to use Shmoop as well. Thank you for coming.